Susanna from Ready and Thriving, and really quick now, I want to take you through one of the best hot desserts that you can make for one. So simple, you can have all the makings of it just in your refrigerator at any time, and then you can have a nice, wonderful, hot cooked dessert for one person anytime you want it. It just makes such a nice difference. What I'll make is a fruit crumble. And so you've got just fruit, crumble, you cook it for 30 minutes, and oh my gosh, it's like you've made your own kind of Dutch apple pie, or even better because exactly what you want. So really super easy, because that's part of its charm, is that the first thing to do is we're going to macerate the fruit. And that is a real chemical process of bringing out the great flavors in fruit. So what we're doing is we're changing the cell structure to bring out all that flavor. And we'll do that first really simply, right? These are just washed blueberries that I want to have. And then I also have made some candied orange peel, but it's just because that's what I have. So use whatever fruit you have and that you enjoy. And I'm just going to use all of these berries. I'm making two because I go ahead and like to make two at once. When they macerate, they can sit overnight. So that means I can have a dessert tonight that's hot and a dessert tomorrow that's hot, and all made at one time. So super easy. So to macerate the fruit, how we change that cellular structure is basically break it down just a little bit. There are a number of different ways you can do that. You can break down cell structure with salt, but I want a nice sweet dessert, so you know, a little tiny bit of salt for flavor is okay for some things, but in this case, not going to use it. The other great things to use, and you can use them separately or in combination, are some sort of citrus juice. So this is a lime juice. It could be lemon, what have you, something that is acidic. That helps to break down the cell structure. Sugar also does too. You know, maybe you've had that situation, you've had some strawberries, put some sugar on there, and then all of a sudden they turn into this syrupy texture just on their own. And that's what sugar does, is it really helps to get inside the fruit and bring out that flavor. Alcohol is another one that does exactly the same thing. So I like to do a little bit of a combination, either kind of alcohol or citrus, kind of do the same type of job, or so you could do just a citrus and a sugar, for example, and that would be really nice balance. You can just do any of these on their own as well, but today I'm going to do alcohol and sugar. What could be better than that? It's not so hard either. So we just need to get this open really quick on the super opener that I got here, my lifesaver in the house, and we just put a little bit in there. So I would say, you know, about a teaspoon or so. You don't want to overdo it so that you've got too much of that happening there. So about a teaspoon in each. Sugar, then what we want is enough to really get it throughout all of the fruit. So without overpowering it and sinking it in there, we just want every piece of fruit to be touched by it. A tablespoon or so for the size of a souffle dish or a ramekin will do well. So I'm just really getting it mixed in together, making sure it touches, and that's all we need to macerate fresh fruit. This can now sit, it needs to sit for at least an hour, but it can sit in the fridge overnight, even a couple of days. It'll get more and more juicy. So I will put these in the fridge because it's early in the day, and then I'll be able to pull these out later and be able to make one tonight and one tomorrow. I am going to add a little extra flavor because I've got these amazing homemade orange peels. I'm going to add that in just because, oh my gosh, it adds so much more flavor. Don't need to be macerated because they've already been candied and all of that. And if any of you have made these, then you know they're ready to go. You can just eat them like this. But let's go ahead and add it in, because kind of like adding anything like the alcohol to the berries will actually just enhance its flavor profile. Making them just slightly smaller than the blueberries, but at a similar size. Doing that really helps for the texture to make it really nice. And you get good bright notes of the orange and then nice kind of base notes from the blueberries. In terms of measurements, it doesn't matter. So basically what you want to do is fill this more or less kind of halfway to 2/3 of the way full, and then you'll have room still for that topping. But that's it. As much as you want to eat, and that it fits nicely into the dish, that's all you need to do. So I am going to again kind of mix these together so that we get that nice mixture of flavors, and we get orange and blueberry in every bite. Now you can do this with any types of fruit. I particularly love to make it with berries. One reason is, of course, they're so super simple because you just throw them in. So, you know, making it with berries is fantastic. But also any type of fruit, like apples, pears, peaches, all of those work really nicely. So any kind of stone fruit, so plums, peaches, nectarines, those types of things, and any type of kind of real nice fleshy fruit, like an apple or a pear, wonderful. You want something that kind of holds together and doesn't just turn into complete mush, but basically if you would make a fruit pie out of it, then you can make a fruit crumble out of it. One of the great things about making your own dessert for one is that you get to choose everything about it, all the flavors. So for fruit, of course, choose your favorite fruit, and then choose good accompaniments. So if you think about it and you love apples, you may want to put some cinnamon in with it to bring that extra nice spice. And as shown, to macerate the fruit using alcohol is a fantastic way. So I do have a variety of different things that would help to really bring out the different flavors. So what I used in this blueberry orange version is Chambord, which is raspberry, and it's really nice with the dark fruit like blueberries. It just brings an extra type of tartness and brightness to those flavors, but you can also stick with something that's a little bit more in the dark house, like cassis, for example, makes it a little bit more bitter. So have a variety of different things. So this is peach. I've got a couple different types of orange flavored. One of the most traditional types of cooking alcohol really is Grand Marnier. It'll work with any type of fruit. It has cognac with a little bit of orange, and it just brings out a nice brightness in any type of fruit. So if you were to learn how to make a fruit salad at the Cordon Bleu, this is what they would use as Grand Marnier. So have a variety of different types of flavors. Here's melon. Maybe a number of you have limoncello. Always a nice kind of brightness to add to a variety of different types of fruit. If you're going with cherries, of course, kirsch is wonderful. And one of the best kind of all-rounders, in addition to Grand Marnier, is a more summer flavor one. So elderberry or Saint-Germain is kind of the most famous one, but elderberry has just this most wonderful subtle flavor that adds a really nice kind of excellent aroma to almost any fruit. So if you were going to get two things, I would recommend Grand Marnier for those kind of heavier winter fruit salads, and for the lighter ones, an elderberry liqueur like Saint-Germain. To bake up our fruit crumble. So I've got that macerated fruit, and I even took a little taste of it, and it is so flavor intensive now. Fantastic. Just that little time with those other elements like the alcohol and sugar just brings out the flavor so strong. Then I've got my streusel, and you can see a huge amount here. Obviously that's not what I'm going to use for my dessert for one, but I make it in bulk. I freeze it, keep it in the freezer, and then I can have it whenever I want. So it's really fantastic. The recipe's at readyandthriving.com, but it's a simple streusel recipe with the same amount of sugar and flour together, and then half as much again of brown sugar with the same amount of butter and a little touch of salt just for a little extra flavor profile. And then I put a nice little layer on, and you can see it's real sandy and chunky, and that's what we want. So you can do that either, you know, really getting in there with your hands to melt that butter to get it throughout, or if you want to make it in a bowl, just melt the butter in and then stir that through. Don't let it become a big chunk. You do want to have those nice little crispy bits, right? The little bumps and ridges that make that flavor so much nicer. So I put about a centimeter or so, you know, a little less than ½ an inch of crumble topping on the top. And that's it, now it's ready to go. So I'm just gonna put it into my 350 Fahrenheit oven, and I will cook it for 30 minutes. Then it's done, nice hot dessert. That's it, so easy. And I've got a hot dessert, which I can make anytime, even on a weeknight or anytime I want. So it's been 30 minutes in the oven and it is bubbling. Looks ready to me. Fruit crumble is out of the oven and it sure does smell wonderful and looks amazing. Got those nice sugary ridges on the top, and I know it's ready because I can see the fruit just bubbling up around the sides. So it is quite hot. I'll just let it cool for about 10 minutes or so until I can get a good hold of it. And then it's time to have a delicious hot dessert for one. Dessert perfectly sized and oh so delicious. Try it with ice cream. And this is Sana from Ready and Thriving, and watch readyandthriving.com on the Extend Your Food Life page for all sorts of great tips for cooking for one, baking for one, and doing your food preparation just to make it simpler to eat and enjoy really great food, aesthetically pleasing food that tastes amazing, even for singles, couples, or small families.